How you going there, everybody? My name is Anthony Newcastle, and I've been asked to come and do a couple of things here with you today. One is to deliver an acknowledgement of country. The other is to also talk about my project with the University of Melbourne. And the third thing is to introduce you to my didgeridoo, which is just over here. I'll grab that shortly. An acknowledgement of country and a welcome to country. They're two important elements for many of us here in Australia, and obviously for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Because, a welcome to country is when we have a traditional owner who might be with us, meeting in a particular place, and the traditional owner will welcome us, will welcome you, to their country, to the country of their ancestors, to the place where they are custodians of the land, where they practice their culture and have done for many generations. So a welcome to country is exactly that, a welcome by a traditional owner to their country. An acknowledgement of country is when you have somebody like me. I'm not standing on my traditional country, and I am welcoming you to this place. So where I stand now is on the land of the Kalkadoon. I'm in far north Queensland, in the Gulf country of Australia. But I am an Aboriginal man from the Northern Territory. My mother's country is in the northern part of the territory, so at a place called Wadeye. My father's country is in central Northern Territory. But I now live on somebody else's country. I live east of Brisbane. I live in the Moreton Bay area. I live in the country of the language group, the Quandamooka. So I want to acknowledge the Quandamooka people as well. So, acknowledgement and welcome to country. They're important because they remind us that the country that we stand on, Australia, didn't have Europeans until 1788. So there's been 12 generations of European occupation here in Australia. Compare that to 40 and 50 or 60,000 years of Aboriginal people here in Australia, and our Torres Strait Island people as well. So Aboriginal people here have been here for around 2,000 generations, almost an unimaginable period of time. So there would have been so many changes during that period of time. But over that period of time also is the growing of stories and passing on of stories and language and culture between groups. That is Aboriginal Australia. 40,000 years, 2,000 generations. And during all of that time, no forts built, no huge walls to keep people out, no large armies built. So Aboriginal people found a way to be able to share with each other, to grow together and survive over that huge period of time. So my project with the University of Melbourne is around the exploration of an Indigenous Australian masculinity. Now, there have been a couple of ways that I've been exploring this idea around an Indigenous Australian masculinity by Aboriginal men and with Aboriginal men, and one of those is through didgeridoo. So it's a group of men who meet under the Story Bridge each fortnight, and we talk about Indigenous masculinity. We learn to play the didgeridoo. We use the didgeridoo as a tool to promote discussion around who we are, around us being Aboriginal men, what are our ties to our Indigenous culture. So the project, which ends, I hope, this year, at the end of this year, as we look at Indigenous Australian masculinity, asking these questions around what are Aboriginal men's or what are Indigenous men's perception of an Indigenous Australian masculinity. We share a dreaming story as part of the methodology in search for green ant dreaming. Are there things that Aboriginal men in contemporary Australia can learn from history? So from traditional Indigenous practices. Is there a way that these things may be able to cross over? And it's in that crossover that we're able to express ourselves in a new way around being Aboriginal men in Australia, learning from our past. We refer to some of this learning for ourselves around remembering, having conversations about our grandfather's grandfather or our grandmother's grandmother. What can we learn from them about their values and what they stand for and who they are and how they practice being in their lives? So that's a short snap of my project. Next, what I want to do is introduce you to this didgeridoo. Now, this isn't my didgeridoo, it's a borrowed didgeridoo. It's a hollow piece of wood. And the way we play the didgeridoo is by doing a noise like this with our lips. So, then we try and find a way to circular breathe to keep the noise going. So we do this. See if we can get this done.